Okay, so, hi, it's Tuesday again. Mom's at school, Hannah's doing dishes, and the girls just went downstairs for bed. So, I'm up here by myself again, and Dad's doing something in the living room. In case you still didn't know, I still live with my family. It's just more convenient than trying to move out on minimum wage. Okay, well, I'm getting paid slightly above minimum wage, like 25 cents more. So, not enough to try to move out on my own, so still staying at home. And loving it. It's really good when the internet decides it wants to cooperate. Speaking of the internet, hi Flynn. Yeah, by the way, you're on Gmail right now. This is fun. Okay, so, as I'm sure you're all sick and tired of hearing about my life, I've got probably 45 minutes before Scott gets here to drop off the cell phone, to pick up the cell phone charger because I've had it all day. And my cell phone charger is broken. So we're sharing one right now. And when he leaves for work, he will come and drop it off for me. And then when he gets off of work, I will take it out to the car for him and he will take it home with him. It's a pretty useful arrangement. Except for the fact that my phone does not like to hold a charge. Ever. At all. I made one call to him this morning when I woke up because I was in frantic dead panic because we were late for school. And my phone died immediately afterwards. Yeah. My phone died in the middle of a job interview yesterday. Or I think it was a job interview. It might have been a survey or something. I don't even remember anymore. I'm just too tired to remember. It's painful. Yeah. There we go. And hopefully Flynn will be satisfied with the little tonguey thingy while I'm trying to think, because I can't think and type at the same time anymore. It makes NaNoWriMo a little bit difficult. So yeah, I basically spew nonsense during NaNoWriMo and try to form it into some sort of coherent novel-ish type thing. Normally it ends up my characters are ranting about how little attention I pay them. Which, you know, is something I would have done differently as a writer. I would have listened to them to a degree. Like, I can't really tell you if I would listen to them less or more. Because as a self-proclaimed insane person, I suppose, every single one of my main characters is usually right in here at any given time. It's gotten to the point where we call them my 89 alternate personalities. Because they're each very unique, each have their own name, each have their own voice. It's like Cassie and her foreign accent syndrome. She's darling. I think there's a video of her up on Facebook. I'll have to find it for you sometime. But darling Cassie, that girl, it's very funny. So each of my characters is pretty much a separate identity that I listen to and then write. But had I chosen to do things differently as a high schooler, I probably would have listened more and related less. More separation between the characters probably would have been a great thing for me. And I never got around to it because it's just not a thing. So that's how that would have gone. And yeah. That's what I would have done differently in my writing. Just a random thought. So yeah. I actually have a question from Once Again White. She's one of my favorite sisters off of Dragons in Our Midst. I lost most of my others. They just vanished off the face of the earth. Shaurelia Stormpaw, dragon rider. Matthew is still around, as is Dragon Youngling every so often. Those two are actually my brothers. They're pretty awesome. Zilla's I'm never sure what Zilla is. I think by now he's safe to be called the brother. But, yeah. Shirlea and Dragon Rider were my first two real sisters on Dragons in Our Midst. And from there it expanded into Remade Gold and Jesus Freak. And from there it went to Blackfire and Beta Omicron Gamma and Horsey Gal. And now once again White are all part of that same family as often as I speak to them. Which at this point is really only Beta Omicron Gamma, also commonly known as Emma, and once again White, commonly known as Wain. Those are really the only two I get the chance to talk to much anymore. It's a very sad realization of what life is like, just that I haven't been able to get online as much as I used to. Hi, Papa. So yeah. Apparently people like it when I'm not on fire. That's a weird message to get, but that's one I have. So, Wain asked if I was making a movie of my life, what actors would star, what would be the main events / plot, and would there be any fantastic elements or things that didn't actually happen. Actually is in quotation marks. And this is something I've thought of for years and years and years and years, because when I was little, I thought, okay, surely I'm going to grow up to be somebody famous. I'm grown up now. And, yeah. So no, not happening. But, if somebody did randomly decide to make a movie about a very ordinary person, I would probably have, I don't know, do they have to be famous actors or something? Because if I could have my choice, you know, it would... Laura Jones would probably agree that Anne Hathaway is one of the better choices in terms of casting. We talk alike. We don't really look that much alike, but we talk alike sometimes. So I suppose, you know, she would be, if it had to be somebody famous, it would probably be Anne Hathaway. Just because. But if it didn't have to be, probably Kendra. She's a good actress. Kendra or Rebecca, depending on if I was designing this movie to fill a specific villain. Like, if I wanted to portray myself as the villain who never listened to anything her character said, the absolute tyrant of this imaginary world, I would choose Rebecca Schaefer. Elder Fern. She just... I love her dearly. She's one of the most amazing villains I've ever met. And Kendra, just because she knows me. We're very similar in a lot of ways. So, you know, if I had to choose my friends to do it, those would be the two I'd choose. And if I had to choose somebody, you know, who I wanted to be like who I wanted to be like, oh gosh. Who would I want to be like? Who would I want to have as an influence in that aspect? If I had to pick an actress to emulate and then represent me in my life, oh gosh. Maybe that one chick from Dark City? Maybe? Probably not. I don't know. It feels like actors are under so much scrutiny for everything they do, which they are. it feels like they're regarded as a lot more faulty than other people because their lives are so far out, you know, in the open that every word that they say that they wish they could retract is in print forever. It feels like they're under a lot more scrutiny than the average human being. And it feels like a lot of the times as conservatives, we can villainize these people. Because they say really stupid things and do really stupid things. And then you look at your own past and it's like, oh yeah, I did that, but I don't have a large influence on everybody else, so it doesn't really matter. Meanwhile, that's not entirely true. Whatever you do impacts the people around you. It really seems like we villainize a lot of popular culture. And that's a little hard to imagine. Ooh, I thought of it! Ashley Clements, the star of Lizzie Bennet Diaries. I would probably choose her. If I could, for like massively famous actress dealing with my life, it would be Anne Hathaway. For an honest portrayal of an actual human being, Ashley Clements from Lizzie Bennet Diaries. Yeah, that's bunny trailing. It works. I can tell you that. Hannah. Jeremy Renner would totally play the love interest.
He'd be awesome.
He would be awesome. Here, let me see that. Is that Hawkeye? I got these for my sisters for Christmas. I don't know if you can see that. Let me check the actual screen I'm using. Yes, you can see that. There you go.
He's awesome.
This is my little Hawkeye
Mine.
that I gave to Hannah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Yeah, all the girls got them for Christmas. Got sisters and mine. I couldn't think of anything else. I mean, really, it's hard to pick something, but they're all chibi Avengers. Elizabeth got Loki, Abby got Captain America, Bethany got Captain America, and Ashley got Tony Stark. In the Iron Man suit, but without the helmet. She's adorable. But yeah, I would, if I had to do like a multi-million-dollar movie, it would be Anne Hathaway and Jeremy Renner. With, of course, Gerard Butler, for the couple people out there who know my obsession with the Phantom. He would have to be in there, because that was my musical, Once Upon a Time. So yeah, he would have to be in there, and you all know it. So there's no hiding that. But yeah, main events, plot, oh gosh. Again, it depends if I'm going with the villain tyrant over this land where all these characters are revolting. Or if I was going with a realistic portrayal. Realistic portrayal, I would be slightly concerned about what's in it. Because up to date, my life has either been depressing or boring or stressing out over nothing. And you can't tell me I'm wrong, because it's true. If you know me at all, it's true. Yeah. So if we're going for a more fantastical portrayal, I suppose it would probably start as an 8-year-old. Because while I was dictating to Mom stories long before that, I wrote a story about Michelle and the Bird. I think I was 3. Yeah, dictated to Mom and then drew the pictures for it. I had fun with that. Been doing that for years and years and years. So, I think probably my first real story that I fell in love with was David and Lisa. And it was about this princess. It was a 25-page novel. I was so proud of it at the time. about this princess. And her father was killed, and she was now going to be queen. But in order to be queen, she had to get married. This was before Princess Diaries. I'd just like to make this known. They stole from me. And she had to get married in order to be queen. So, like, all the people started just being nice to her and trying to get on her good side. And her handmaiden at the time was Esther. And when Lisa finally got married to the guy she really liked, she told Esther, I'm going to need some help. And she made her princess, an honorary princess. And she had Esther and her other best friend, Kevin, get married. A little bit dominating at the time, but this is what princesses did in my world. So as an 8-year-old, I would be going in there telling them what they needed to do, things like that. And as a teenager, whenever I was depressed, I'd be making constant forays into this world, straightening things up, tearing things apart. And if you have ever met Tariwarn, know the destruction that can be wreaked if I feel in a particularly vengeful mood. I feel a slight wavering bit of remorse for Ruki and Morgul. Not as much as I do for Tariwarn, but they're still in here, so I can't say too much bad about them, or they won't speak to me again and they'll destroy everything. So, in order to get them, working with me here, I need to stay on their good side just a little bit longer. And then I'll kill them. It happens. Just nod, smile. It happens. So I suppose that would probably make the better movie of my life. But if we were going through a, relatively realistic portrayal, you would see all of my imaginary friends and my characters just as, not necessarily ghosts around me, but solid humans, but very much of a different world. David and Lisa, you come from a land in David and Lisa where in any given day, you're either in writing habits or in ball gowns, pretty much, as a girl. That's the world that they lived in, up until, probably 5 years ago. But at 5 years ago, I stopped actually describing what they looked like, what they were wearing, because I got so tired of it. So, yeah. It sounds childish. It really does. But yeah, on any given adventure, like planning my wedding. If there was a movie about me planning my wedding, and it was a pretty down-to-earth portrayal, you would still see certain characters. You would have Ruki over here with her full ninja gear and her hair tied back, and it's silver. She was pretty much born with silver hair. And you would see her there. And then over here would be Esther, always willing to help out with everything. Further back behind me would probably be Rilia, the adventuress who left her daughter to go save the world and ended up failing and dying. And her daughter saved the world for her as she was dying. So Rilia would be back there, and you'd see all these characters from these different worlds back behind me giving input on different things, and I'd probably be slamming books shut several times. Because I spend so much time on my own, nobody would really question that these people were, that I was talking to myself. Not that it's a normal occurrence, because I do it anyways. Now I'm just rambling. But yeah, you would see these characters in a movie with a relatively realistic portrayal. That's what would happen. It's just one of those things I think would be fascinating. So yeah, there's that. And Dylan, about your little comment, I can beat you in a children's card game any day. Time, place, and lots of luck. You know I have a problem with draws. But not this Friday, because this Friday, if I feel better, chronic fatigue, it gets on my nerves. But if I feel better, we are actually going to go teach a lesson. My dance team and I, this is probably something I haven't brought up before. I'm on a para dance team. For those of you who don't know what para is, it's a Japanese club dancing style that looks like a cross between air traffic control and cheerleading. I'm not kidding. It is almost all hand movements, very little leg movement, unlike the Vocaloid dances or anything like that. So, you know, in some ways it's different. In some ways it's actually a very large help, because my hand-eye coordination is not that great. So, oh no. Oh, okay. Hannah Davis just posted that she's watching Mission Impossible 4, which I actually kind of liked. And I thought it was my sister. So I was going to have to rush out there and sit down and watch it with her. And I'm like, yeah, no. It'll wait. Oh, snap. I've been rambling for like 20 minutes. Yeah, this probably is this is a good place to start. And then, actually this is a great place to stop, because I'll just keep rambling and spouting my mouth off. So, I will stop this, and then I will be back in about 30 minutes with Scott here, because I'm going to convince him to come upstairs and say hello, because he'll be all cleaned up from work, and yeah. So I'll give you a little while to process all of this, and by the time you finish watching this video, I'll have started filming a new one. I'm sorry. I don't mean to ramble. I really don't. Love you.